Brother lads, welcome back to the Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. I feel African right now, and hence the scarf. But I also feel happy. I feel like it's a Partey mod because Partey is staying, and therefore we got ourselves some juice. Since I don't take soda and beer and wine and alcohol, so juice and water is my thing. Thomas Partey stays at Arsenal, and that is what we've got to talk about. Is it a good idea for Arsenal to keep Partey for one more year? Is it a bad idea for Arsenal to keep Thomas Partey for one more year? And what happens in terms of incomings? Do we sign another player in that position regardless of Partey staying or going? And what is the likelihood that we will see Arsenal sign a player in midfield, in defensive midfield to be particular, with Thomas Partey staying? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Arsenal news, Arsenal breaking news. Thomas Partey is staying at Arsenal. Now, let's talk about it. First and foremost, I'm going to say this. I think this is the right decision by Arsenal, given the fact that we have had a shambolic market. 1 month to the start of the Premier League, we have signed no one. We are so lucky that Thomas Partey stays. We are so lucky that Partey stays. Imagine not having Declan Rice fully fit because he's been at the Euros, the emotional stress from the Euros final. Of course, they played very, very poorly. Every game stressed them out for 90 minutes, at times 120 minutes. They were rubbish. They were garbage. So it was emotionally draining and physically draining as well. And then you have Martin Odegaard, who is fully fit there. But then you lose Thomas Partey. That means that you might actually go into a new season with only one guy fully fit to play for you in midfield. That's only Odegaard. So the fact that Partey stays, that means that Arsenal will start the season with two fully fresh players in midfield. That is Thomas Partey and also Martin Odegaard. So I think that is a good decision. It is a win-win in Arsenal's favor. Win-win because we get two good midfielders that are very fully fresh, and they've worked together for at least 3 years now in the same midfield pairing. However, there is also the other side. There is also the other side that if Arsenal keep him and therefore we don't sign another player and he gets injured, what do we do from there? What do we do from there? Because this season is our season to challenge. This is the season where we go, we are winning the title, right? This is the title winning season. So does Thomas Partey guarantee us that cover? Does he guarantee us the availability that we want in a DM? Is he that reliable? Let's talk. Now, let's start off with the good side. I really like starting off with the good side. Like I said, the party continues. And yeah, I mean, with Arsenal, when you have Thomas Partey, when he's part of the squad, you know that the party will continue. There is a party. So with Arsenal, the party continues. And I think that phrase, the party continues, means a lot of things regarding regarding Arsenal's season. The party continues because as other teams strengthen, Arsenal will be already strong and will have kept our decent block in midfield. And also the party continues because I think Arsenal are just getting better. Even if we don't sign anyone this season, which is highly unlikely, but even if we don't sign anyone, this Arsenal team, for me, in terms of development, in terms of maturity, in terms of cohesion, we are actually getting better, right? So the one advantage with Thomas Partey staying is that Arsenal got into a title-winning season with absolute pure cohesion. And this kind of cohesion is what we've seen Manchester City build over the last 7 years or 8 years. When you think about the players in the Manchester City squad, you think about Rodri, you think about Kevin De Bruyne, you think about Bernardo Silva, you think about Ederson, you think about Ruben Dias, you think about Kyle Walker, you think about John Stones. One of the cross-cutting factors when you think about those players is that they've been there for quite some time. They understand the Pep Guardiola system and they understand the Premier League very, very well. So they know the level of competition they're going to be going against. They know the level of difficulty in the Premier League. They know when to step up. And you can see that in the last 10 games of the season, in the last 15 games of the season, Manchester City step up as a team, not just individuals. Phil Foden all of a sudden steps up, Rodri steps up, KDB steps up, Silva steps up, and all the other senior players step up because they know it is in the title running between April and May that you either win it or you lose it. And Arsenal have lost the title in the last 2 seasons in the title running because Manchester City stepped up their gears and we couldn't actually count. We lost count of Manchester City's interchange of the gears. So with Thomas Partey, you have a player that has got the experience. He's been through 2 very, very hectic seasons where we've lost the title and we should have won it. Arsenal deserve to be the champions, or we would have deserved to be the champions. But hey, we didn't, right? We didn't win it, and it's not because we were not good enough. It's because this team was still in transition, and it is still in transition. I won't be surprised for Arsenal not to win anything next season. I will be mad, I will be angry, but I won't be surprised for Arsenal not to win anything next season because as you go through the gears, at times then it becomes a little bit hard, right? If you've ridden a bicycle, you know what I'm talking about. It becomes a little bit harder when you're climbing the hill, when you're climbing up a hill or something like a raised ground. So I think that's what Partey gives us. He gives us that experience of a guy that has been part of this Arsenal team, that has been part of this Arsenal side when things started getting harder and harder and harder. And his experience, because he's been a champion with Atletico Madrid, might actually help us in one situation or the other. So that is a very, very good part of Arsenal keeping Thomas Partey. I think it's good. The other reason as to why I think it's very good, especially the fact that we are going into title winning season, Partey is irreplaceable. And when I say he is irreplaceable, I don't mean you cannot find a player that plays there. What I'm trying to say is that him as a player, you're not going to get another Partey out there. You're not going to get another Thomas Partey out there. It's very, very difficult. I've looked at how Arsenal sets up, and the closest we get to being comfortable in build-up is when we have Jorginho in midfield. So Partey being there means a lot for Declan Rice. It means a lot for Martin Odegaard because it means that Martin Odegaard doesn't have to worry about dropping deep. And it means that Declan Rice doesn't have to worry about dropping deep as well. But also, most importantly, it means that with Thomas Partey in that team, Arsenal can quickly win the ball back in the final third of the opponent. Because you have Partey, you have Rice, and you have Odegaard and Kai Havertz who are pressing monsters. I think Jorginho doesn't give you that. So, because you cannot go in the market right now and say, hey, give me another Thomas Partey, it's better to keep him as you assess the options on the market. My only fear is that this summer, defensive midfielders have actually been shopped a lot. Douglas Luiz gone, Onana gone, Joao Neves to PSG. I'm hearing that could be a deal done as well. So it seems like the DM market is being exploited. Man United are also looking for a DM. I would love to see Arsenal sign Manuel Ugarte, but I think United will get Manuel Ugarte. So the question is, he is replaceable this summer, yeah, but do we have the right name to replace him next summer? Because he stays for 1 more year, his contract runs down, and then he leaves. Are we really ready to replace him next summer? But the only advantage here is that you can't replace him right now. You just can't bring in a player and say, boom, you are the new Thomas Partey. And I thought Arsenal's strategy would be, and we're going to talk about the strategy, but I thought Arsenal's strategy would be, since you can't replace Partey right away, you bring in an understudy, the way we've gotten rid of Lokonga. So you bring in an understudy in that position and then keep Thomas Partey as well. I don't think that's going to happen. I think a DM at Arsenal right now is very unlikely. So let's talk about, of course, he's also a fan favorite. I had forgotten this, right? The advantage of keeping him is you're keeping Africa at Arsenal alive, because Africans at Arsenal, they love Thomas Partey. There's no question about that. They love Thomas Partey, and he is a fan favorite. Now, this is the downside of keeping Thomas Partey. One, yes, it's a song, he's injury prone, but it's a song that has got a meaning. It's a song that has been inspired for a reason. When you look at your screen, if I asked you, which player would you actually say he's going to give you 20 games a season? That's Thomas Partey. 38 games a season, that is Bruno Guimaraes, right? So for me, Arsenal have got to understand this, that the over-reliance on Thomas Partey and our overconfidence in Thomas Partey and the optimism that it will get better always, it's cost us before and it will cost us again. Now, I don't want to be the prophet of doom. I don't want to be the guy that says, oh, look, I told you so. I told you he was going to get injured. I told you. I'm not going to say that. When he picks up that injury, probably I might say that. Probably I might not. Depends the mood I will be in that day. But we know that he's going to pick up an injury somewhere. And we know that his injury has been recurring and recurring and recurring. Yes, he got some time to heal very well, but that doesn't guarantee you. This guy is 31, right? This guy is 31. Injuries are going to keep coming for him. There is a reason as to why Arsenal are willing to gamble and keep him, but they're not willing to give him a new deal. As important as he is, we should be willing to give him a new deal. As important as he is, we should be willing to say, hey guys, we've decided to give Thomas Partey a new deal. Right? As important as he is. But we are not giving him a new deal because we know you cannot rely on him. You can't trust him to stay fit. You can't trust him to be the guy that plays for you 38 games in a campaign. Now, what does Thomas Partey staying mean for Arsenal's transfer window? Because we've got to look in there. We've got to look into that. What does it mean for Arsenal's transfer window? Does that mean that we are still signing Bruno Guimaraes? No. And that explains why every number 6 now has been let go of Arsenal. Of course, with excuses, Onana is not Arsenal quality and Arsenal level. Bruno Guimaraes is expensive and all this and that. But when you think about it with a closer look, if Arsenal really signed Thomas Partey for 45 million, triggered his release clause, and that money was paid in one lump sum, that shows you that if Arsenal want to do something, they actually do it. Declan Rice, 100 million. Kai Havertz, 65 million. So that shows you that if Mikel Arteta and Edu want to do something, they actually do it. So the reason as to why we are not going out in the market to sign one of these DMs that are being interchanged like pieces of hot cake on the market is that Arsenal are feeling reluctant that we will not lose Partey. For me, the ideal situation would be, and my ideal situation in my head was, go and sign a player, younger version of Thomas Partey, and then after doing that, you can go and you can keep Partey for 1 more year, and then you can let him go. That means that in the second year, that player that you've signed in this summer will have graduated into the next Thomas Partey, probably learning from Thomas Partey, observing Thomas Partey, and getting to get the energy of Thomas Partey. Arsenal don't see it in that way, right? Arsenal are comfortable to sign Mikel Merino, who is going to replace ESR, and sign no DM and keep Thomas Partey. If it backfires, right? I'm gonna be here, and for that one, I'll say I told you so. The only advantage with Arsenal not signing a midfielder or a DM is that with Partey's decision to stay, you can sign a striker now. You can invest the money in another position. You can invest the money in another pressing position. And I'm gonna say I'm still very, very surprised with Arsenal's assessment of what is of what is needed this summer, because the club think attack is not the priority. I'm so amazed at how we've gone from a season where you look at a midfielder and you're like, the midfield is okay, and you look at and you're like, we need one midfielder, and the defense, yeah, the defense is okay. Goalkeepers, if Ramsdale goes, you bring in one. This summer has turned into a summer that Arsenal need to sign 10 goalkeepers, a summer that Arsenal have to sign like another defender, and no attackers. I'm pretty very much bamboozled by the fact that Arsenal really look at that attack and they're like, this is Real Madrid level. This is Manchester City level. It is not. Seriously, that attack of Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus and Havertz, if I was to equate it to any team in the Premier League, I would equate it to Newcastle's attack. Because they have Isak, they have Gordon, they have Willock, Harvey Barnes, and Almiron. Pretty much the same what we've got. Pretty much the same what we've got. I thought that we would massively improve on that attack, right? So maybe Thomas Partey staying, we can focus resources on the attack. I don't know, but it's a good decision. It's one we might have to revisit later on and ask the question, could we have done better? And that question, could we have done better, is a question that we've asked ourselves for quite some time now, and we never seem to find the answer. Never, ever.